If I could sit down with my younger self, there are 7 things I would tell them. 7 lessons that only became clear after I turned 70. Some of them would have saved me years of stress, regret, and wasted time. Others would have helped me appreciate life so much more. And if you're younger, listen closely. These lessons might just change the way you live your life today. Now let's begin. For most of our lives, we are trapped in a silent prison, the fear of judgment. We worry about what others think, whether we're doing enough, saying the right things, dressing appropriately. But something remarkable happens after 70. One day you wake up and realize none of it really matters. You start to see how much energy you wasted worrying about opinions that were never that important to begin with. You no longer feel the need to impress anyone. The clothes you wear, they're for your comfort, not to meet someone else's expectations. The way you speak, it's your truth, and you own it. But here's the real beauty of it. You actually become more respected when you stop trying to please everyone. People sense authenticity, and when you stop filtering yourself, you start forming deeper, more meaningful connections with those who truly matter. Think about all the time you spent in your younger years fretting over what others thought. Maybe it was the pressure to have the perfect career, the perfect marriage, the perfect home. You worked tirelessly to gain approval, whether from your parents, your boss, or even your neighbors. But at the end of the day, whose life were you really living? Let me tell you about my friend Margaret. Margaret spent most of her life being the person everyone else wanted her to be. She married young because she felt it was expected. She stayed in a job she hated because quitting would look bad. She even joined a country club she didn't care for just to keep up appearances. But when she turned 72, something clicked. She sold her house, moved to a small seaside town, and started painting. Something she had loved as a child, but abandoned because it wasn't practical. Now she laughs about all the years she spent chasing approval, wondering why she ever cared so much. "I'm finally living," she told me, "and I'm finally happy." Or take George, a retired accountant who always dressed in suits and ties because he believed looking respectable mattered more than anything. But now, at 75, George wears Hawaiian shirts every day and couldn't care less about what people say. "I've earned my right to be comfortable," he chuckles. "And you know what? People actually like me more now that I'm being myself." When you hit 70, you realize that the people who truly matter never judged you in the first place. The ones who did, they were never worth your time to begin with. If you've experienced this shift, type shift in the comments. If not, type no shift. I'd love to hear where you're at on this journey. For decades, we chase wealth. We save, invest, work long hours, thinking money is the key to happiness. And while financial stability is important, after 70, you realize this. The real wealth is time. We spend our entire working lives striving to accumulate wealth, thinking that once we reach a certain financial milestone, we will finally be able to relax and enjoy life. But here's the catch. By the time you have enough money, you realize you have far less time left to enjoy it. How many people retire only to find themselves too exhausted or too sick to enjoy the fruits of their labor? How many birthdays, anniversaries, or family gatherings have we missed because we were too busy working? We tell ourselves we're doing it for our future, but the truth is, life doesn't wait. I once knew a man named Richard who worked tirelessly for 40 years, never taking a break, never taking a vacation. He planned to travel the world when he retired at 65. But when that day finally came, his health had deteriorated so much that he could barely walk without assistance. His dreams of adventure, gone. All those years he spent working to save money for someday, he never got to see that day. On the other hand, there's Helen. Helen took a different approach. She prioritized making memories while she still could. She worked, But she never let her job consume her. She traveled, she spent time with her grandchildren, she learned new hobbies. Now, in her 70s, she has no regrets. She lived in the moment, and because of that, she has a lifetime of joyful experiences to look back on. After 70, every moment feels precious. You start measuring wealth not in bank statements, but in time well spent, with family, in laughter, in experiencing life fully. If you're over 70, I encourage you to spend time like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. And if you're younger, take this as a warning. Stop postponing joy. Start living now. When you're younger, it's easy to take your health for granted. You bounce back from late nights, indulge in bad habits, and assume you'll always have time to get things under control. You say things like, "I'll quit smoking next year," or "I'll start exercising when life slows down." But here's the hard truth. Life never really slows down, and those small choices add up more than you realize. By the time you feel the consequences, reversing them is much harder. I've met so many people in their 70s who wish they had made different choices. There's Jim, who spent his 40s and 50s drinking heavily, always telling himself, "It's just a few drinks, I'll be fine." Now he battles liver disease and chronic fatigue, unable to enjoy the retirement he worked so hard for. Then there's Linda, who used to love hiking and dancing. Over time, she let her health slip, and the extra weight crept up. Now, even climbing the stairs or playing with her grandkids leaves her breathless. "I didn't realize how much I would miss my mobility," she told me. But not everyone has regrets. My friend Susan made a change at 65. She was overweight, pre-diabetic, and constantly tired. One day she decided, enough is enough. She started small, walking every day, making better food choices, drinking more water. Now, at 74, she's off her diabetes medication, has more energy than she did in her 50s, and travels the world without worrying about her health slowing her down. She proves that it's never too late to take control. Health is more than just the body. It's the mind, too. We often think of health in terms of weight, diet, and exercise, but let's not forget mental health. Your mind and body are deeply connected. If you don't take care of one, the other suffers. Think about it. How do you feel when you don't get enough sleep, when you're constantly stressed, when you don't see your friends for weeks? Over time, isolation, worry, and lack of movement can lead to anxiety, depression, and even memory decline. Studies show that staying active, both physically and socially, can help prevent cognitive decline and dementia. There's a reason doctors say motion is lotion for the body and mind. Moving your body releases chemicals that boost your mood, improve sleep, and lower stress. Even something as simple as going for a walk, gardening, or dancing to your favorite song can lift your spirits and keep your mind sharp. What you can do, starting today. If you're reading this thinking, "Well, it's too late for me," let me stop you right there. It's never too late. You might not be able to turn back time, but you can absolutely improve the quality of your life starting now. Move a little more every day. Walk around the block, do some gentle stretches, take a dance class. Just keep moving. Eat real, whole foods. Think fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Your body will thank you. Prioritize sleep. A well-rested body heals better, fights off disease, and improves memory. Protect your mental health. Stay connected with loved ones. Engage in hobbies, and challenge your brain with puzzles or learning new things. Cut back on bad habits. Smoking, excess alcohol, and too much sugar may have been fun in your youth, but they take their toll over time. Start reducing them little by little. The choices you make today will determine how you feel 5, 10, or even 20 years from now. Imagine yourself at 85 or 90. Do you want to be active, independent and full of life, or struggling with regrets, wishing you had taken better care of yourself? Your future self is waiting. Make decisions today that they will thank you for. At 70, you start to see life differently. You can't take money with you. You can't take possessions with you. What truly lasts? The stories you tell, the moments you cherish, the memories you create. Think about the happiest moments of your life. Do you remember the expensive watch you bought, the fancy car you drove? Or do you remember the laughter around the dinner table, the spontaneous road trips, the late-night conversations with loved ones? When you reach 70, you start to see life differently. The things you once thought were important, the designer clothes, the latest gadgets, the bigger house, suddenly don't hold the same weight, because at the end of the day, you can't take any of it with you. What truly lasts are the moments, the memories, the stories you collect along the way. The burden of stuff versus the lightness of experiences. The happiest people I know after 70 are the ones who travel light, both physically and emotionally. They aren't burdened by too much stuff or too many regrets. They understand that a cluttered home often reflects a cluttered mind, and they choose to invest in what truly matters: experiences, relationships, and personal growth. Are you holding on to things or making room for memories? If you're still hoarding things, ask yourself, do these possessions bring me joy, or am I just holding on to them out of habit? Wouldn't it be more fulfilling to create new memories instead of clinging to old possessions? Am I spending more time maintaining things than actually enjoying life? This isn't to say that material things have no value. Of course, some hold sentimental meaning: a wedding ring, a handwritten letter, a cherished photo album. But too often, we let stuff take up space in our lives that could be better filled with adventures, laughter, and love. Shift your priorities. Start living fully. So what can you do? Start small. Declutter with intention. If something doesn't serve a purpose or bring true joy, let it go. Someone else might need it more than you do. Invest in experiences. Instead of buying another gadget or piece of furniture, take that trip you've been dreaming about. Sign up for that class you always wanted, or spend more time with loved ones. Be present. You don't need to travel the world to create meaningful experiences. Sometimes the best moments happen in your own backyard, watching a sunset, sharing a meal, or simply being fully present with those you love. At the end of your life, no one will ask how many things you owned. They'll remember the impact you had, the love you shared, and the stories you left behind. Because in the end, life isn't measured by what we own, but by the moments that take our breath away. By 70, you start measuring friendships differently. It's not about who was there for the good times. It's about who walked with you through the storms. It's not about how many friends you have. It's about who you can truly count on. And if you have even one true friend, you are rich beyond measure. Here's a hard truth. Some friendships aren't meant to last forever. In our younger years, friendships often form out of convenience. Co-workers, neighbors, fellow parents at school functions. We assume these bonds will always be there. But life has a way of revealing the difference between seasonal friends and lifelong friends. By the time you reach 70, the fog clears. You start to see who was truly there for you, and who was only there when it was easy. The ones who only called when they needed something. Gone. The ones who disappeared when life got tough. Forgotten. And you realize that's okay. Because what matters isn't how many people you have in your life, but who stays when it really counts. Friendships that stand the test of time. At this stage in life, you start measuring friendships differently. Maybe you had a big group of friends once. Maybe your phone never stopped ringing. But if today You can count on one hand the people you trust completely. Consider yourself lucky, because real friendship isn't about numbers. It's about depth, loyalty, and love. A true friend is someone who celebrates your victories without jealousy, stays when life gets messy, tells you the truth even when it's hard to hear, feels like family whether you share blood or not. If you have even one person like that in your life, you are rich beyond measure. But here's something else I've learned. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. There's a kind of peace that comes with solitude. When you stop chasing shallow friendships, you create space to truly know yourself again. You get to reflect, to read, to write, to simply be. Some of the happiest people I know in their 70s and beyond have learned to embrace their own company. They fill their time with passions, creativity, and self-discovery. They don't wait for others to make them feel whole. They create joy from within. So if you find yourself with fewer friends than you once had, don't mourn the loss. Celebrate the ones who remain. Cherish the friendships that stood the test of time. And most importantly, become your own best friend. Because in the end, life isn't about how many people knew your name. It's about the love you shared, the moments you treasured, and the peace you carried within yourself. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I want to carry this grudge with me? Maybe today is the day you let it go. By the time you reach 70, you realize that grudges are heavy. Carry them for too long, and they start to weigh you down, not just emotionally, but physically. The bitterness settles in your bones, the anger saps your energy, and before you know it, you're exhausted by a battle that only exists in your own mind. Because here's something life will teach you, if you let it. You don't forgive for them. You forgive for you. I once knew a woman named Eleanor. She hadn't spoken to her sister in 30 years. 30 years, over something neither of them could even remember clearly. One day, Eleanor received a call. Her sister had passed away, and just like that, the possibility of reconciliation was gone. Forever. She told me later, I thought holding on to my anger was protecting me, but all it did was rob me of time I can never get back. That's the thing about resentment. It tricks you into thinking you're in control. It convinces you that staying angry gives you power, but in reality, it's just a prison you build for yourself, and the longer you stay inside, the harder it is to break free. Letting go doesn't mean excusing forgiveness, doesn't mean you're saying what happened was okay. It doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't hurt. Some wounds cut deep, and some betrayals are hard to move past. But forgiveness isn't about them. It's about releasing yourself from the grip of the past. Because when you refuse to forgive, who suffers? Not them. You do. They go on with their lives while you carry the weight of resentment like a stone in your heart. The power of letting go. Ask yourself, is holding on to this anger adding value to my life? Has carrying this grudge made me happier, healthier, or more at peace? If today were my last day, would I want to leave this world with this weight still on my heart? Forgiveness isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's saying, I refuse to let this pain define me any longer. And the truth is, forgiveness isn't always about reconciliation. You don't have to let toxic people back into your life. Sometimes forgiveness simply means making peace within yourself and moving forward. Maybe today is the day you let it go. If there's someone you've been holding resentment toward, ask yourself, is it worth your happiness, your peace, your time? Because time is precious, and every moment spent in bitterness is a moment wasted. Maybe today is the day you put down the weight. Maybe today is the day you finally set yourself free. If there's one lesson that becomes crystal clear after 70, it's this. Every single day you wake up is a gift. Another chance to love, to learn, to laugh, to create, to experience something new. Yet, too many people waste their final years drowning in regret, fear, or bitterness, dwelling on what they lost instead of embracing what they still have. But here's the truth. As long as you're still here, your story isn't over. Every sunrise is an invitation. Every morning is a fresh page. What will you do with yours? Don't let regret steal the time you have left. It's never too late to start living, because the saddest thing isn't growing old. It's wasting the time you have left wishing for the past instead of embracing the present. Appreciate what you have right now. We all lose things as we age. People, abilities, moments we wish we could relive. But if you spend your days focusing on what's gone, you'll miss what's right in front of you. You're still here. That's a gift. You still have love to give. That's a gift. You still have time to learn, to explore, to laugh, to make a difference. That's the greatest gift of all. Happiness isn't found in the past, and it isn't waiting for you in the future. It's here, now, in this moment. All you have to do is choose it. Never stop growing, because the moment you stop, you start fading. One of the biggest myths about aging is that growth stops. It doesn't, unless you let it. I've met 80-year-olds who are more curious, adventurous, and full of life than some 30-year-olds. The difference? They never stopped learning. Read new books. Learn a new skill, even if it's just for fun. Meet new people. Try something you've never done before. Stay curious about the world. Because the moment you stop learning, stop exploring, stop growing, that's the moment you truly start aging. If you're still here, make it count. One day, far in the future, you'll wake up for the very last time. None of us know when that day will be, but we do know this. Every morning until then is a gift, so don't waste it. Love deeply, laugh often, learn endlessly, live like every day matters, because it does. If you've made it this far, I want you to do something. Comment, "I'm still here" below. Because if you're still here, you still have time. Time to love, time to learn, time to live. So don't waste it. Make every day count.